Hi everyone, this is going to be a full day wear test and review of Makeup by Mario's brand new liquid foundation. It is called the SurrealSkin Foundation, and it is currently available through Sephora. As always, I'll put a link in the description box to where you can find it. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel, and you can also follow over on Instagram. If you missed the latest video, please go check it out. I'll link it in the upper right-hand corner for you. So let's jump right into it. This foundation is $42 through Sephora and comes in a decently wide range of shades. If I'm counting correctly, it comes in 30 different shades. The shade that I picked out was 5N. This is the box that it will initially come in, and for that price you will get 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters, a very typical amount of product. Let's go ahead and look at what the company claims this foundation will do for you. It says it's a breathable, luminous foundation that effortlessly builds and blends to illuminate the complexion with customizable, long-wearing coverage. It's supposed to reveal the skin's natural luminosity. They say it has a moisture grip technology that hydrates the skin and glides on easily. For customizable coverage, you can layer it or sheer it out, and it's supposed to work harmoniously with powders or creams while staying true to the original color that you apply. In terms of the ingredients, the company highlights the fact that it has grapeseed oil in it and squalane also to help moisturize the skin. And as for the rest of the ingredients, I do not see any fragrance in the ingredients list or any drying alcohols either. All right, let's go to a bare face and apply this and see how we like it and what the finish is like. So I've already applied my skincare for the morning, and I have applied sunscreen. Now, I did apply a tinted mineral sunscreen. It's new from Neutrogena, their mineral UV tint line. They have light, medium, which I show in the review video, and dark, which I don't think I can think of another drugstore brand that has provided a range like that of tinted mineral sunscreen. So I'm very excited about that. I'm not sure if that video is going up before this one or after, but if it's already up, I will make sure to link it in the upper right hand corner for you to check out. So with all my skincare done, we're gonna go ahead and apply the foundation. I will tell you that immediately from taking this out of the box, I noticed the shimmer. I don't know if it will pick up on camera there, but throughout the bottle, I can see shimmer, which I'm not super excited about. The other thing I will share with you is that I felt like I had a difficult time finding a shade that matched my skin. Ultimately, taking this out of the bottle, I think this will be an okay match, but I just felt like the way the swatches and photos of the shades were applied to the various models were less helpful to me than I usually find when I'm looking at shades with other brands. So again, ultimately the shade that I ended up picking out is 5N. I have light skin with yellow undertones, and in MAC shades I am usually an NC20, sometimes more like NC25 if I'm more tan. It is in a clear glass bottle with a plastic top and a pump dispenser. I'm gonna do half of my face applying this with a brush. This is a flat kabuki style brush. I'll start with 1 pump. Okay, that was very easy to apply, and I felt like blended really quickly and nicely over the skin. And I also, the first thing that I thought was, oh, I'm immediately noticing the coverage that I'm getting. Not that it's completely full coverage, but I would say this is between medium and full coverage. It's very nice coverage, and I don't have to build it up at all to get that coverage, which is very nice. This has blended out very smoothly with the kabuki style brush. the evermost slight maybe texture around the hairline there, but really hard to perceive unless you are looking for it. So this is the half of my face that has the foundation applied at the moment, and this is just skincare. The shade is also, thankfully, I think a good match. On the other side, I'm going to apply with my fingers. Interestingly, when I look at the instructions for how to use this on the website, it says, of course, they want you to use, I think, one of the brand's makeup brushes to apply. And then they say if you want more natural coverage to apply with your fingers, adding just a little more for the forehead, which I find a little interesting because in my mind, at least, I think if I apply this with my fingers, I'll get heavier coverage because I won't be losing the product to the bristles. It will just, most of it will transfer off of my fingers onto my skin. So I thought that was just interesting. I don't know, let me know in your experience if you tend to get more coverage with brushes or if you tend to get more coverage if you apply it directly with your fingers. Also applies very smoothly. I don't know if I would say there's any noticeable difference in the coverage necessarily. I feel like it's pretty much the same. I'm trying to see if there's a scent to this. I don't think that I detect one. Yeah, again, easy to smooth out over the skin, blends nicely into the skin. I think maybe just a little smoother near the hairline. So very slightly more texture using the brush in the hairline, but again, not something you would actually be able to distinguish between the two sides in real life, unless I told you to look specifically for that. So initial application, I am impressed. I think this looks very smooth on the skin. It strikes that really nice balance where it gives you noticeable coverage and covers up blemishes and spots, pigmentation, but still maintaining a very skin-like smooth finish. It does have a luminance to it that just for me personally, I don't particularly look for in a foundation, just because my skin already is shiny from being more on the oily side. I don't have a problem with it because I think it looks very nice. It's just a feature that I personally would typically try to avoid. The luminance is probably at least in part due to the shimmer that's in here. In the artificial light that I have here, you don't notice any shimmer particles. I'm concerned that in natural sunlight, you will look shimmery. Unfortunately, it's been overcast and rainy, and it will be for the foreseeable future. So I literally don't know if I would be able to test out what this looks like for you in sunlight. I will try right now to show you what it looks like, but it's very overcast and pretty dark still. So I'll show you what it looks like in the lighting, the natural lighting that I can. But if any of you have tested this out and seen it in natural direct sunlight, I would be very curious as to whether it looks shimmery at all. So it's so overcast. I don't know how helpful this actually will be, but I'm trying to get as much direct light as I can. So that's what the finish of the foundation is like in the light that I can provide or that I have for the foreseeable future. So I'm not sure what you can detect in the low level of natural light that I have to provide you. In looking at a swatch, you can see that there is thankfully pretty finely milled shimmer, but there is shimmer in the formulation. I think probably practically speaking, unless you are in direct sunlight, people may not pick up on that. It's definitely a very luminous formulation. The more I look at this and then in natural light, it's very luminous all throughout my face. So again, for someone like me, that is a characteristic that I would avoid. but that's personal preference in terms of some people really like this overall glowy finish to the skin. So it's up to you whether that's something that you want in a foundation or not. Otherwise, smooth, nice coverage, seems like a nice formulation. I'm gonna go ahead, apply the rest of my makeup, show you what it looks like after powdering and such, and check back in with you. So here is simple makeup. I set with translucent powder, nothing that's actively mattifying or gives me any sort of coverage. I feel like there's a little bit of texture all around my mouth here after setting with the powder, and a little more emphasis of this texture on the side that I applied with the brush. But overall, seems to work just fine with powder products, a little bit of bronzer, stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead, wear this throughout the day, and I'll check back in with you after a full day's wear. All right, we are here at the end of the day. It's nighttime now. I have not done anything to touch up, no blotting, no reapplication of any sort of mattifying powder or anything like that. So I have some thoughts. The overall condition of the foundation is good, it's fine. I am very shiny, so more than even other kinds of foundations, I am particularly shiny, kind of oily, slick looking. So if I were to normally or regularly wear this foundation, I would need to be blotting, maybe reapplying some powder to get rid of this high shine. I do see some kind of wear and tear, so to speak, in particular around the mouth, and then a little more along the hairline, a little bit actually underneath the eyes too. So if I had to be super critical, I would say that the foundation could do a little bit better in terms of wearing off more evenly or being a little more long wearing, especially if you compare it to something like the drugstore foundation that's newly launched by Revlon that I recently reviewed. I'll also put a link to that in the upper right hand corner, because this is also marketed as an illuminating foundation. It's the Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation by Revlon. Obviously a fraction of the price of the Makeup by Mario foundation. And although this also has kind of a radiant finish to it, it did not become a kind of shiny, slick at the end of the day the way the Makeup by Mario one has. So I think this is a nice foundation. I think it looks lovely. I think it gives you very nice coverage for maintaining that skin-like finish, but I personally don't like how illuminating it is. And then obviously the fact that with someone who has oily or combination skin like me, how shiny it will get throughout the day. I forgot to mention that the foundation, I noticed a few times throughout the day, me kind of noticing that it wasn't completely weightless on the skin. Not to say that it was super greasy the way a really unpleasant sunscreen would be, but it wasn't completely weightless. I did notice it being on my skin a few times throughout the day. So those are just my thoughts. Definitely not a bad foundation at all. Those are some of my criticisms to keep in mind. And I just wish there wasn't all this silver glitter in there. I really don't think that's necessary for the foundation at all. But those are my thoughts and review. Let me know in the comment section below if you've tried this out, if you have any thoughts or your experiences with it, or of course any questions that you have. I hope this was helpful to you. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.